the very first one. Yeah, the very first one.
Okay, so welcome to our little powwow. We got a couple of late straggling people coming in, Mexican time. But we're gonna get down with this father not baby daddy little brunch, and we're gonna start right now.
But I had another one.
We're gonna start
next to me. So there's a 15-year age gap.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, let's get him up. All right. Go ahead.
Alrighty. You don't want to wait for everybody to come over here?
I mean, I told them we got
Okay.
we're on time schedule.
Well,
you want to shout at them real quick?
Come here, Zozo. Well, welcome. First of all, thank you guys for coming.
Yes.
Hump and Joe put this together.
Thank you.
And I am just sponsoring it, hosting. Very happy and proud of these guys on their journey of soberism. They inspire me one day. I'm a social drinker, so hopefully one day I'll give it up for good. But I'm happy for you guys. And I know you guys have been active and present in your kids' lives. And that says a lot. And I think you guys are going to inspire a lot of people within our community. This is something different, something new, something fresh, right? And it's based around our culture as Chicagoans, as Latinos, Southsiders, Southeast Siders. Like, I think we are our own culture in itself. So I'm excited for this journey, and I'm happy to be here with you guys. And you guys already know this is Joe Cisneros, and that's Humberto Aguilar, 600 plus days sober.
So what we're gonna do here? We're gonna talk about my book, Father's Not Baby Daddy, and it's a 30-day devotional. We'll talk about for men, the ones who are ready to show up, break cycles, and need purpose. You'll find truth, fire, and healing in every chapter. Because once you have children, it's not about you anymore. It's about what you leave behind. So that's what we're going to be getting at. It's going to be real, and then we'll engage. But I wanted to announce my man Humberto Aguilar, 600 days plus sober, and big shout out for the tacos. He made some tacos.
They make some tacos.
And I'm so happy to just be a part of this. And this is like my dream coming to life. Like they say, if you dream it, if you see it, if you believe it, it'll happen. But you got to work. And so I'm so humble that you don't have to have a lot of people to spread the message. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, Mr. Humberto.
Hello everybody, I'm Humberto Aguilar. I appreciate you guys showing up. Like you said, we don't need a big group. The people that are here sharing stories, like with Mr. Corona, sharing stories about South Chicago and the war and stuff like that is priceless. You can't take that away. It fills my day, with something I didn't know, some knowledge. The group I got going is just a community group to help each other out, man. So we were all peers at one time and hanging out all the time, being maybe bad influence on each other. Now it's help each other out, influence someone else to do something better with themselves. It doesn't have to be technically just stop drinking. Maybe someone needs to hear something. So a lot of people don't have nobody to talk to. I know there's been many times I didn't have nobody to talk to, and I chose to speak to the bottle, and that was a bad decision. So, I'm not trying to sugarcoat nothing. It was rough. It was tough. You got to know when enough is enough, and it's time to wake up. That's all it is. I appreciate all you guys here. Take the time out of your lives just to sit here and share this moment. Like you said, we don't need a crowd, man. It starts with a handful of people, and you just spread the word. And next you know, you have a bigger group of people that want to come share their stories. That's all it really is. People just need to be heard. I mean, people need to share their experiences, even if it doesn't have anything to do with drinking. It could be, like I said, Mr. Corona sharing his stories of war and his buddies, from the service. That to me, that's priceless, man. It doesn't matter about how many people are here. Him sharing stories of history from where we come from, I think a lot. He's sharing it with my daughter. She's young. It's different generations here. We got we did 4 or 5 different generations here, and to have everyone here sharing stories, that's all I want. It helps out with your journey to be sober.
Healing.
You know, something that's all you need is to occupy your time and have gatherings that don't involve alcohol. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys. So that's pretty much all I really wanted to share with you guys. And if you guys need to reach out, my page is there at ODOT, one day at a time. And just reach out to us.
So, Mr. Humprock, um, what made you? What was your enough's enough?
My enough was my children, man. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. They see a lot of shit that they shouldn't say. That's due to all. She saw it. I'm gonna tell you right now, right there, it's one of the reasons why I stopped. She checked me many times. You know what I'm saying? And she's like my sister. Like how my sister was. My sister's like my little mom, and she's like my other mom, my youngest daughter. They're both, man, dude, my wife. She dealt with a lot of it, you know what I'm saying? And my daughter made me wake up, bro. It really did. I don't know. I just couldn't do it.
So did it? I mean, did you make the decision while you were drinking?
I made the decision while I was drinking. I'm not gonna say it, you know. But at the same time, I didn't find it fun anymore. I was just hurting people, So alcoholism turned me into a very aggressive and abusive person.
Alcohol, fuels emotions,
Huge emotions, right?
and then people act on those emotions.
Right.
But well, how were the first 5 days?
Oh, I was a drunk for the first 5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still
Did
bad.
you do cold turkey?
I went cold turkey. I still battle. with addiction. It doesn't go away overnight. That's why they call it recovery.
Yeah.
Because you're recovering.
That's a journey.
It's a journey, exactly. So I thank my wife and my kids, my family that's been in my corner forever. So without them, I wouldn't be where I am now.
So how did you feel about the first 60 days?
First 60 days, I was, to be honest with you, I was kind of lost. Like I felt like I was my back was like in the corner. I just felt displaced because I was so used to being. Oh, I'm gonna go hang out. I'm gonna go hang out. It was just different, especially from where we come from, our lifestyles. That's how we grew up.
Yeah.
We don't know. We were house parties. We were teenagers going to house parties. So growing up, it was part of your identity. To be honest with you, it's a culture, right? It's not to say we're a part of your environment, but growing up, we grew up fast.
Yeah.
We grew up very fast. Hey, we're going to a party. Hey, there's a house party. We go to daytime. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
We were throwing the house parties.
Yeah, exactly. We go to daytime. It's about hosting DJ, or we're going over here. And it's house parties while we're supposed to be in school, man.
Yeah.
Having trailer parties.
So how does it affect your family knowing that you're making that sacrifice for them?
Well, I mean, you can see it. I see it. You know what? Let me tell you. Put it this way. Recently, heard my kids tell me they're proud of me as adults now. And when they tell me they're proud of me, that says a lot right there. That made me think. When they were younger, maybe it's not that they didn't mean it when they were young. Oh, Dad, we're proud of you, but they're still young, bro. It's kind of hard to say they didn't mean it or feel it. But now, as adult kids, and they tell you, "Hey, Dad, we're proud of you," that shit, bro, it hits hard. Like, it hits home, bro. Like, it's like, okay, well, this is the best decision I could ever make. Because they're adults. They speak out of heart now.
Absolutely.
Because they're adults, and they see the struggle to get to where I am now.
So, um, for those of you just joining us, we're at the Father Not Baby Dating Brunch, and we have our host, Erica Quintero, and my man Humberto Aguilar Jr., Hump Rock the Legend.
Oh, that's the legend right there, Mr. Corona.
So from this point, now we start heading towards the book. So, how is fathering to you like as you grow older?
Well, you know what? Today, as a dad, as a father, you can. I mean, you're learning. You're still learning this. You're growing as yourself. Right? You're living life. You're still growing yourself. So now you got to try to, be a parent to somebody. Well, you're still trying to figure out life yourself. It's kind of like it's a juggling act. It's kind of different. It's kind of, if you're not in the right state of mind, your bad decisions are gonna trickle down right to your kids.
Right.
And when you're under the influence of drugs and
Yeah,
alcohol, you don't think about it that way.
I say, you got to face your demons, or they'll raise your children.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. But it trickles down, and it comes down to that too. You know?
So yeah, once again, we're with Pump Rock and Erica and myself, Jose Cisneros, and talking about my book, Father Not Baby Daddy. So going into the fatherhood, um, so the table of contents starts. Number one, I got your back, right? Because I'm not saying what I say is the final straw, right? But what I'm saying is coming from a father's perspective that has been in his, children's lives, and they've grown up to be, productive members of society, you know. So to trial and error, and as I always say, I'm so happy that God let me live this long to show my kids a better father, because I didn't know what I was doing. You know? So that's what I say. I got your back. I'm gonna explain a couple things, right? So you can't buy presence, right? But you have to be there, showing up. Showing up is the most important. It's like half the battle. Just showing up, just being there. Baseball games, basketball games, recitals, engagement. It's very important. And yeah, let's see, that present but not present, right? So what that means is that you're there but you're not engaging, and then that trickles down to your children, that they never knew what a man was because the man of the house never showed them. Right? So uh, the mother of your children. So I just said baby mama, right? I said the mother of your children because how you treat her is going to reflect. How you treat her is going to reflect everything. Because your daughter's your first love, or her first love. It's you. You are your son's first hero. So 9 times out of 10, he's gonna grow up to be like you. She's gonna grow up to marry somebody like you. Right? So what we do, but like I said, don't judge the tree, but judge the fruit it bears. You know. So we have good fruit, man. You know, that comes from being present. You know? So like I said, you're your daughter's first love. You are your son's first hero. Provider. What does that really mean? Right? Um, Everything begins at home. Talk about the schools, don't talk about daycare. Everything begins at home. It's your responsibility as a parent to make sure your kids don't grow up to be uh, uh, delinquents, right? Um, Discipline with love, not anger. Now, that don't mean that you don't spare the rod, right? Even though the Bible says you must check your children, right? Um, but what I learned through doing that is, yeah, okay, you discipline them, but then you got to talk to them afterwards. Like, why did you do this? And show them that it was done with love, because just a beating and sending the kid off, wondering, am I not good no more, or something like that, right? Like the father is most important in that part, because, like I said, first love, first hero, so they look up to you, right? So there's a way to do it. Like, we have to discipline our children. Everybody know that? Agreed? Yeah, your kids are watching you. Like I said, they're sponges, right? Everything you do, like unconscious. Like the other day, my daughter's like, "Hey, man, Dad, I got mad at Lena, and I told her, stop crying or give you something to cry about." You know what I'm saying? And she's like, it just came out. I'm like, I know, man. I told you this is. They're watching. They don't want, like, just like we didn't want to be our parents. We end up being like that, right?
Yeah.
So God first, the blueprint of fatherhood, right? There's so many scriptures in the Bible for men. You know, uh, my favorite one is Corinthians 13:11. Maybe the wreath, Jeannie. Big shout out to Jeannie's custom creations. Right? Big shout out.
Oh yeah.
Corinthians, was it it's in the book of First Corinthians, and it says, "As a child, I spoke like a child. I acted like a child. I thought like a child. But when I became a man, I put away with childish things." And that like snapped in my head. You know, and you read enough truth in the Bible, read enough truth, it's easy to discern a lie. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So we got to put God first, letting go of guilt, letting go of the past. You know, we all trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? So just let it go, man, and live to be the father that you are today and who you're trying to become. Right? Um, Leading when you feel lost. That's the hardest part, right? When we don't even know who we are, but we're trying to show them who they are, right? It's like the blind lead the blind, you know. Um, your father, not a friend. Your father, not a friend. Like we have to draw that boundary, right? Like what did our parents used to say? I ain't your friend, right? Don't talk to me like I'm one of your friends, right? It's man, it's respect, you know. So it's very important that we draw that boundary because we're showing our children how to respect us, right? You gotta enforce it. So when you discipline, don't disappear. Like I said, when you discipline your child, don't just like I said, don't just walk away. Explain to them what happened. You know, my kids actually told me when I asked them, what did I do wrong? You know, or what made you feel like displaced after I disciplined you. And my daughter will be like, it's just you never talked to me. You never talked to me afterwards. You explained why. You know, so that hit me like a ton of bricks. And so now I understand that, and I just think differently now. Because your children will teach you a thing or two, right? I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? And your presence is their protection and peace. When dad's there, everything's cool. Right? I mean, if you're a father, not a baby daddy, right? Everything's cool. Dad's home. You know what I mean? And just we leave. And I can guarantee you, when we're standing in front of the gates at judgment, we got to answer for what we leave behind. Because God put us there for a reason, right? To lead our family with love, with forgiveness. But at the same time, we can't be gullible either. We can't be so heavily bonded with no earthly good that we forget where we're at. You know, and how the kids are so disrespectful nowadays. I look towards the parents. These kids didn't ask to be born. They didn't ask to have that attitude. They got it from somewhere. So somebody's messed up. And they said, face your demons or they raise your children. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Be careful what you allow, like I said, because you're drawing that boundary, right? Be careful what you allow because you're teaching people how to respect you, not only your children, but everybody around you. If there's something you don't like, just talk about it. I would say you can't beat the problem if you don't face the problem. A lot of people just like to talk in little circles, you know, and and the guy that talking about sitting right there, and I just go talk to him then, right? Why you go bicker over here like a bunch of old ladies, and he's right there, you know? It kills me, you know. That's mad, you know, because they said be careful what you allow because you teach people how to respect you, you know, and don't feel bad about it. Love yourself more than they do, right? Love unconditionally. Now, unconditionally doesn't mean that you got to be gullible. We owe love, but we don't owe access, right? You earn access, right? So that's what I'm saying with that is like when you love unconditionally, that means that it's like what Jesus said. Um, when him and Peter were talking about forgiveness, you know, Jesus said 7 times 77, and he's like, "Really? I got to forgive him that many times?" He's like, "No. What 7 times 77 means is that you shouldn't keep count, right? You shouldn't keep count. And anyway, 7 is the number of completion, but you shouldn't keep count because if they keep doing it to you, that's your fault, right? So that's very important. Um, the thug and the gentleman, what's your choice? You know, you want to be a thug, you want to be a gangster, or you want to be a father and raise your kids the right way? You know, what you want to be? What's more important, the streets or your crib? You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying with that. Like to me, I say now the gangster move is walking away because your family needs you more. Walking away from drama. You know, because even in the Bible, we were just talking about this right from Genesis to Revelation, drama, 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 drama. It's been going on since Adam and Eve ate that apple. you know, so yeah. How about, like I said, I always say, the gangster move is just to walk away, not get involved. Oh, that's my boy. Yeah, but what about you? What about your kids? You know what I'm saying? What about your home? Somebody's got to pay the mortgage. Like you got to go. You got to get past that. But I was there. I'm not lying. I was there. Was anybody there too?
Don't look at me, Joe. Don't look at me.
No, but I know a lot of people that were.
Right? And everybody wants to be a gangster, but nobody wants to be that gangster that walks away. Not get involved. Yeah, exactly. Um, when you're not okay, like even when we are not okay, we still got to be fathers, man. We still got to control ourselves. Emotional control. It's tough. Ooh, boy, it's tough. I tell you. Well, I've seen it myself how God has worked in me and through me, right? And I see reactions that I would have taken before. You want to get over here, Nicole? You want to get over here? In the shade?
In the shade, right here.
It's all right. Come on.
No, I got the kids and everything.
It looks more shady where they're at.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So, moving on. So, if you don't do it, somebody else will. Like, you want somebody else to show your kids what a man is? You know what I'm saying? You want to let another man show your son what a man is? Or your daughter not find out what a man is until he's on top of her? Right? It's our responsibility, man. It's our, stop playing around. You know, we're killing a generation before it even flourishes. By just not being there. Not us, but I know everyone here is a good father. But guys, man up. These kids didn't ask to be born. They didn't ask to be born, and they didn't ask for your demons either. And I see so many lost kids, man, it just kills me. Like I know that was my kid, but at the same time, man, the children are so innocent, man. I get like emotional about that because they kill them before they even begin to be who they can be. You know, they're not there for them. You know, it's horrible. That's why I said if you don't show them what a man is, what a father is, somebody else will. And I'm sorry, but ain't nobody showing my kids what a man is, right? So if you're not there, what are you showing? You know, they can't see you if you're not there, right? Speak life, not death. You know, like speak life over them. You know, I mean, we can discipline. You know, we can correct. You know, but don't discourage them by saying like, oh, you're dumb or stupid or stuff. Because those words are like daggers. And some of those scars don't heal. You know, so excuse me. I'm like Marco Rubio. But and some of those emotional scars don't heal, right? So so what are we doing then? Why? What are we raising our kids to be? I'm sure everybody here wants their kids to succeed, right? And make a difference. As far as I know, everybody's kids here are okay. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's a big troublemaker, pest, or anything. So, but don't lose who you are in them, because they're gonna grow up and they're gonna leave you, right? And then you're gonna be left with, man, what do I do? What do I do now? Because my whole life is to my kids, which is good, but you still got to do you. You know, you still got to do you. That's very important. Um, because if not, like I said, you're going to be 60 years old and your kids are in their 20s and they'll never see you again. Won't even call you unless they want money. You know? So, so yeah. 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 That's good. All right. So, so don't lose who you are in your children, right? And a man who prays over his kids, like we have to keep, they say generational curses, you know, and why does it have to be? It's only a generational curse because you feed it, right? And like I said, you're demons, right? So why can't you be the one to stand up and break that? You know, it was all, blame. Everybody likes to blame everybody else for everything, you know? So that's what I'm saying, like, show your kids who God is, man. Like, take it from me, like I was like the last person that you would ever think would be talking about God, right? But man, God touched my life, and He started back when I was a teenager. I just didn't figure it out until I was almost 50. you know, yeah.
What year were you for? 72.
But it's important. It's just important to teach your kids the truth, because I mean, if you read the Bible, everything in there makes sense. Am I right? Does anything in there not make sense? Like, did they tell you to kill? No. You know what I'm saying? They tell you don't kill because something's gonna happen, right? Right. So, um, one chapter a day. That's it. That's all you need to do. You can listen to it now too. It's just the truth, and I'm gonna mention it, and I'm gonna speak it until I'm on empty, because I found peace in that, and I'm sure there's a lot of other followers of Christ that feel that same peace, and it's changed my life. Look at all this. This is my first ever uh, thing that I throw. That, for a fucking fresh start. Thank you.
Thank you.
And this is like, believing it, seeing it, speaking it, and make it come into reality. And it's all through God, because once I gave my life totally to God, man, I gave books, I gave, not for profit, I gave LLC, I gave a whole other business, multiple streams of income, like God was like, man, I've been waiting for this. Now you get it. So now he's pouring everything through me, man. I'm telling you. And I just got inspired. Um, I'm very humble. I'm very humble that you guys are here. So thank you. Thank you for coming to my first one. We're going to do this every year because fathers are important too. And, yeah, we're important too, man. And a lot of times we get overlooked, and it's hard being a man, it's hard, just like it's hard being a strong woman, we both struggle, but it's like looking through pink contacts and blue contacts, we both struggle in our different ways, and that's why I say in relationships, it's like I've had enough of relationships to understand that I need to love myself more than they do, right? And I need to love myself in the way that I want to be loved, right? And then I can love my neighbor, right? Because if I can't love myself, I can't love my neighbor, right? So, you teach people how you want to be treated, right? You treat people how you want to be treated, right? And don't get mad if they aren't treating you the way you want to be treated. You got to cut them off because, once again, that boundary of respect, right? So, reposition life, ready or not, here it comes. But like Jesus didn't say that we weren't going to have problems. He said you're going to have problems, and he said you remember they're going to hate you because they hated me first, right? So, and it's true because no friends, no. But it's like that's very true, man. Like once again, like I said, there's nothing in the Bible that doesn't make sense to me. Like I said, breaking generational curses. Humility is the key to blessing. It's not too late to start over. Also, not for your first name, but for your last name. You're not a baby daddy, you're a father. So, I'm going to ask my gentleman and the ladies here, what's your definition of a father? When I got baptized, I was given a book. It's called "So You Call Yourself a Man" by T.D. Jakes, right? And I sat on that book for about a year or two, and then I read it, and it blew my mind. Because at that time, I was like, you know what? I can't answer that. So you call yourself a man? I don't know what a man. I don't know what a man is. And that like changed me. So that's what I'm saying. Like, anybody here, like, what is your definition of a father? What is your perspective of what a father should be?
Someone who's present and raises the kids, whether you're in the same house or not. Active, quality time, and is there for their kids mentally and physically.
Right. Well, too, like, you arguing in front of them is not good. I know it's hard. But you shouldn't have arguments. You should have disagreements. I mean, we're grown already, right?
Yeah, that happens with whether you're with the person or
not. Yeah. We're grown already, right? So it's like,
I would say safe. Feel safe.
Feel safe.
Provider.
Like my story is a little different. My dad was always there for me, and that's the same how I am with my children. I didn't have my dad was always present.
Yeah.
But the one thing with my father was he had to love everything above and beyond my dad did. But he should feel safe.
Yeah.
right? Make your children feel safe
Right.
because, especially now, everything else falls. A good father is going to be there for you, give you the good advice, show you right from wrong. And your children have to feel safe.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
You say that, that's probably one of the reasons why I stopped drinking. I was always there for my kids, but they didn't feel safe because I was drinking.
Wow.
So that what say what you said, that's one of the reasons why I started drinking. Because I asked my kids, they're right there. I was there 100%. I coached baseball, football, basketball. I provided, but alcoholism made them feel unsafe. And right there, what you said, right there is the reason why I started drinking. They didn't feel safe.
I think the misconception, the big lie is the provider. The father's always the provider, but it goes further than that. With my age and time I have here, all I can give you is it's the most difficult thing. I've done a lot of things, military discipline, boxing discipline, fire department. But the hardest, and I'm serious when I tell you this, is being a father. Now I got promoted to a grandfather. You guys are going to be ready, and this is perfect for that. You're going to be promoted to grandfather. Remember this. You'll work it up. But the mistrust they have in us because it's written that we're supposed to be the man and in charge. But our actions, our drinking, all the stuff we did bad in the past, it's not forgotten. They have it in their mind. Women, my wife been through hell and high water. She's one of the reasons, besides Jesus helping me. But it's difficult. And this is what we need. This is Jose. This is a blessing because, some of us don't want to talk about it. It's private, and it is private. I don't like people to know what's going on in my house.
Yeah. You don't want to put your business on the streets.
But this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
You're going to be promoted soon, guys. By that I mean it's one thing to be a father. And when I stopped drinking 3.5 years ago, I stopped. I apologized to my children, and I asked them to forgive me. As old as I said, Pa, you don't have to. Yeah, you do. And you know what? And I still think back in my mind, it was because of me. Like you said, they follow what you do. And my daughters now, man, they only have a glass of wine. I told my wife, they shouldn't have a glass of wine. I'm getting to that point now where zero tolerance, that's the answer.
Yeah.
Difficult. And then you meet your friends, you meet all some family members who are drinking. Who the heck do you think you are? What I've learned is to be quiet. Take it.
Like I said, just
Well, there's a family is the first
keep
step.
yourself out of that. By the way, that was Mr. Frank Corona. I'm so humbled that an elder such as yourself from our community showed up. That's a lot. That's a lot of wisdom walking on those 2 feet. And my cousin Nicole Adilla, um, she came out and supports, always supports you. Mr. Ben and Miss Jeannie, family. Thank you guys for coming. Um, youngest daughter, Erica's son, and
No, that's not my
That's
son.
my nephew.
Oh,
That's
nephew.
my
Okay.
nephew.
All right. My
So,
son.
I was like, I just met him. What's up? How you been?
That's how it happens, folks.
That is how it happens.
Who's that? 10 o'clock.
I thought the same thing. I was like, oh,
I thought so too. My bad, but thank you, Erica, and like I said, I'm very humbled that this is actually coming to life.
Yeah, I'm proud of you guys.
Yeah.
You
You don't need a crowd to have a party. Right?
We got a crowd though. This is a
but
party.
like you
what the world said, nailed it right there. This
yeah.
is a blessing. Like you said, we don't need a big group. Like sometimes you just want to share your story because, like you said, you're ashamed to let people know.
But that's the problem. Like we grew up in households that were so taboo about things that we need to be talking about and expressing. That's things that we need to start pouring into these younger generations. It's okay to talk about what's battling you in your mind. It's okay to do that. We couldn't do that because it's like breaking the general. Yeah, like
Yeah.
we're stuck in that. But no, I want my kids to tell me what's going on. Tell me what's wrong with me. Tell me what I need to change within myself. Tell your father, and if you don't know, like it was me and him were like Bloods and Crips, you know what I mean? But now it's like they tell they tell us. I did the Crip walk on him, no. But they tell us, and that's what the younger community needs. They need guidance. We had like the neighborhood house, we had the park district, we had that, but we didn't
outlets.
have this. We didn't
We didn't
have
have the internet.
yeah. We didn't
We
have
didn't have
people
Google.
coming together talking about what saying it's okay to let us know where parenting goes wrong at, or where what alcohol does to you. It damages you.
Like I said, I'd rather you come and talk to me, so we can make a decision, better than you acting on your emotions.
Yeah.
And trying to avoid a hole that you haven't fallen in yet. You know what I mean? So
It's communication is key.
Everything.
Throughout everything.
Yeah.
my kids were afraid to approach me, but that was me. I was very aggressive back then.
I think at some point, like I was the same way, but it wasn't, it was through, the loss of losing my sister. I went to a bad depression. Like I was very angry. That's where all the fighting came in at, like, and my kids, like I stood in my room and it affected them. And I seen that it started to affect them. So I'm like, I'm not going to let this affect them. It affected my health. It affected a lot of things. I killed myself. Like it affected a lot. So we are a big impact on our children, and things like this, it needs to happen. Like, and we need to be vocal as with the knowledge that we have.
And two, what I'm trying to bring here is parents talking to parents. Like we can learn from each other.
Yeah. It's not putting our business out. It's just sharing our parental and life experiences. Yes, of course. But that's the thing. Like, oh, that's embarrassing. No, it's not. It's life. It's life has. We've all
Everybody's
gone through
done
a
some
lot.
embarrassing stuff.
Yeah, a lot. A lot.
And,
And
I've been in a couple
Probably gonna do
situations.
some embarrassing stuff in a couple hours.
and not all of it has to do with alcoholism. Like we're single moms, you have single dads. You have the dads that are trying, but you have the bitter women, and that comes from what I experienced. It's just my experiencing the bitter women part was traditional through my upbringing, and I'm like, no, it's not fair. Like when I started going to church, you have to love yourself to start loving others. So I seen a lot of things that I did that was unfair to men. Not saying that it was unfair to my kid's father, because we just like it was just a battle and a battle and a battle. But he had his own demons that he was battling, and me, I was on the internet not belittling him, because I never belittled him to my kids. Did I raise them independently? Absolutely, I did. If I would have allowed them in that lifestyle, I wonder, like, where would my kids be? You know. But I gave my children, the reality of things. You can be here or you can be here.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of my upbringing, your father's upbringing, his past, my past. You know what I mean? Like,
But at some point, the kids need to make a choice too.
Yeah.
But what we do influences that choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
But my parents would always tell me, look, we could tell you right from wrong, but as soon as you walk out those doors,
And what
you're
decide,
going to make your own decisions. That's why you need to talk to your children.
Mhm.
Because, and then I remember being out. I grew up 90th in Houston. Everybody around me had kids at what, 16, 17.
I was
Like,
16.
you have a choice. And so those are the things you think about when you are out there.
Yeah.
Even though we were out at parties, hanging out, doing this, you have to, that's when you're like, okay, right? And you remember what your parents said. I know I did. Am I gonna go this route, or am I gonna choose this route? There was a lot of bad routes to choose from,
Time check.
But talking to your children, they hear that.
Yeah.
Whether it's good stuff or negative stuff, they are listening. I have conversations with my sister every day. I have one today. She's talking, giving her, she asks questions. I want her to, she comes to me and asks questions. Well, this is why. This is what happens. This is what's happened. And this, And we're going to raise our children to starts at home. And my parents were great parents. But there's still ways that I raise my children, not exactly like my parents did for me. There's going to be, because I'm me and I want to do some things different.
Right.
Not to say that my mom did it wrong or my dad did it wrong, but so it's okay to say, no, I'm not going to do the same thing that my parents did, whether it's right or wrong. More wrong, yeah, you want to do better, break it.
Yeah.
You have to do it for yourself.
Yeah, you do. I mean, everything starts with you.
Yeah.
Because if you change, the situation will change. I've seen it, I've experienced it, and a couple times. Like you said, one thing guy just smacked me in the head. It was like, now you finally got it. But yeah, like I said, and they're not doing all the books and everything. Uh, so one more question. So, from the mother's perspective, um, what type of father is in your home?
What type of father is or
Yes. Is he a father or is he a baby daddy?
like my father or like
No,
right
no.
now?
Your husband
me,
as a father.
me.
I can tell you there are so many wonderful things that you know what I mean that I can say about him coming in as a. My kids were already older. They were what 16, 17, 17 and 18 probably, and it was we go through a battle, with that second one. I mean, they were so used to it just being us four. You know what I mean? So allowing somebody in based off the past,
Yeah, he had to earn it.
and he went. They put him through. Not my daughter, but
Not
maybe
so much the oldest and the daughter.
but the second
But the
one,
second one, you could tell he was, he
guarded.
wasn't.
He's
He was
guarded.
guarded, but he didn't have that male role model.
Right.
You need all of them don't have it because now when they
That's why I said,
And it's nothing
I'm
bad
sorry,
on.
and I'm sorry. Like women get mad at me, and I don't care. A woman can't raise a man.
You're
Oh,
absolutely
sorry.
correct. You're right. You're right. I will not say
you cut your
that.
hair short and dress like a
President.
man between.
Yeah.
You can be present, but it's not your father's
Yeah.
day.
No, it's hard, and and I'll never, like I said, belittle their father. Like his decisions were his decisions, and if you chose to miss out, then that's what you chose to do. Like that's something that I can't change. I didn't miss out. You know what I mean? He doesn't miss out. Like, and I tell him like there's so much that he has changed and seen. With my children, with them especially being older. You know what I mean? Like there's things that my children tell him or go to him first, and it's like I would have never thought that because they were so
And that's a
guarded.
shock.
You know,
That's a shock. Like when me and the oldest, we vibed right away. And my biggest fear was her daughter. Because she's like, my daughter's number one. My
and I
daughter's
told
my
him
life.
like if my daughter don't accept
If
you,
my daughter
then
don't accept you, it's gonna be hard, but
yeah,
it's a wrap, pretty much.
because I'm
Nicole? Nicole?
Well,
What type of father is in your home?
I was an amazing father. I have 5 bonus children. My husband was married before. When I met him, he was divorced probably about 2 years ago. Always the kids.
Yeah.
Always had the
Blended
kids around.
families,
We had
blended
kind of
families.
split, lived it all, all that, but always present, always there, always gave them the advice, always the talks with them. Respect women, respect yourself, all those things, that's just him. My husband, that's him. And he's the same way with his kids. And it's even he says it like, even though his kids are always around and he's there, now that we have the twins, for to have the kids like every day, like he gets to wake up every day with them in the house, right? And we're a blended family. We have a great relationship with their mom and her husband and the families. We do all that, and that was the effort that I wanted. I understand you guys may not be at the same point where of course you're getting divorced, you're going through this, she's going through her thing and all these things, but we need to do this together, right? So, but he's always been that person until this day, and it's always that way, But he's a lot like my father.
That's what I say, your first love.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You end up marrying someone like your father. Yeah. But you might stumble a couple times along the way.
Right, no one's perfect. No one's perfect. Gotta, hit them, knock them out here and there. But,
But Frank,
excuse me,
Nicole, sorry. Time purposes. Frank, so give us your definition of a father.
Like I said, my dad worked in the mills, a provider. He wasn't like the father on TV where plays with your kid, go to ball games. He wasn't there. He was always working. Father, right now, is my example. And I look back and I tell my wife, example, not drinking, not swearing. My father was such a gentleman. And I said, what happened? Was it the alcohol? Some of the people we were with sometimes influence us. A father, strongest father has to love the mother. There has to be that time.
Yeah.
That mother.
Well, how you treat your mother is
How
how
you
they're
treat
gonna
the
be.
mother.
Yeah, it's
No
how the
disrespect.
son
My
is gonna
father,
treat. Yeah.
my father never disrespected my mom. And sometimes I used to swear at Yolanda because of the alcohol. And I reflect. I said to myself, and I'd apologize. I said, that wasn't me. I did some bad things with the alcohol. It wasn't me. But the father is very difficult. Like I said before, I've done a lot of things in my life. But being a grandfather, being a dad, a role model is very difficult. You can't BS. You cannot lie to a child. They know. Kids not. Kids know. Children know.
Because I would say, you think differently at 41 than you did at 30.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And we don't go through things, we grow through. If you're not growing, what are you doing? Definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, right? Or, having a type when you date, like you're dating the same person but in a different body, right? And whoever you bring into the home is going to reflect to your kids, right?
And impacts. I say that on personal experience. It definitely is. There's an impact on who you know choose to have as a partner.
Can we be overprotective? That's a good point. I look back when I was in high school, the Jewish mothers were very overprotective.
Yeah.
Is that the answer? I mean, are we supposed to be helicopter parents?
No,
Or,
you gotta let them learn.
yeah, but sometimes I don't want to put the blame on the environment or who they're with.
I'm gonna say everything begins at home. You can't blame nobody but yourself. It's called accountability.
I have this conversation because I say, how could these kids be so disrespectful? Then you find out that there's not a mom and a dad in the house. Only has a mom. The kid is very disrespectful. I said, that's got to be the reason. You're right. It begins at the home.
Yeah. They can't be what they never seen. If they never seen a mother, they never seen a father. They don't know what to be.
We have such a strong culture. My dad was old-fashioned Mexican. He didn't have to say nothing to me. He could just look at me and he put me in my place. And he did. He did
Yeah,
with
that
me
look.
when I came in. Right? Yeah, but we have something, and we're losing that.
Yeah.
With
You know what it is?
With the phones.
The communities, right? We had like, what is it? It takes a
It takes a village to raise
a village,
child.
because I remember growing up, right? There's a clear example. My parents would say, "Hey, watch it because Frank and Yoli, they know us.
Yeah.
So watch what you do." You know what I mean? Like those types of things, right? And you go there, everybody knows everybody. Everybody's watching.
Like that.
Oh yeah, but
Young moms, some people smoke weed and do drugs and shit with their kids. So,
No. I'm telling.
I mean,
I'm that mom that'll tell. Hey, no.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Is
telling.
it the cell phone?
Cell phones?
It's the tablets.
You know what?
Social media.
Social media.
My granddaughters don't talk to me sometimes because they leave it at the front door. And they look at me like I'm nuts. And next thing I know, they got their phones with them. And I say, Yolanda says, evil.
Which is a form of disrespect. Because here's the thing.
That's where I was going.
When they're on their phones, social media, what it's done to a lot of people, even adults, it's so addicting. So the problem is that people are just scrolling and on their phones, and there's no human interaction anymore. And these kids don't have social skills anymore. They lack knowing how to communicate, how to speak, how to express themselves. If you're speaking for your kids and you're not telling them like, hey, when my kids were little, if I can't hear you, I'm sorry, I can't hear you, speak up.
Yeah.
So I want to to hear you because I need you to know how to talk and communicate something.
Yeah,
So you
but
have to
you
teach
gotta
them.
do it respectfully.
Yeah.
Right. But
Yeah,
even so, like, there's been times where my older kids were preteens, and we're going to hey, mom, can you ask if we're at a restaurant? Ask them to give me this. No, you ask. You're
Yeah.
big enough to ask.
Yeah.
If you don't teach your
You gotta
You want to help?
kids,
You want to help me
yeah,
pay?
those easy communication skills, how are they gonna know how to communicate? And so now with social media being such a distraction, and especially with all the negativity
Yeah.
and all the bad behavior that's on there, that's who's influencing our
Look
kids.
at them. Look at the all the mental illnesses, suicide rate, all these things.
Depression.
Depression. They all trickle from what they're
Because these
watching.
kids,
They
because
don't have
these kids
anybody
are lost.
to
That's
reason
the
for
that's
that.
the
But
thing.
not
They're
only
lost.
that, it's they went from 10-minute videos to 1 minute to 30 seconds to 10 seconds to 3 seconds. So you're now messing with their mentality. Their brains are not developed already. And so everything is so fast paced. So what keeps their attention? So we're losing their attention span.
Yeah.
And so you have to get them to be able to do things that you have to play with your kids.
Yeah.
You have to go back
Interact.
to the days
Go out. Yeah.
where you
So
are
be
involved.
present.
You got to be involved. So you got to know what they're doing, know what they're watching.
Yeah.
I mean,
And a lot's changed.
yeah.
I grew up on Houston, and we had what 30 buildings on the block. Every house had kids.
And we come out and
Everybody would
play.
come. It's not like that anymore. I don't live on Houston anymore, right? I'm in Maryville,
Yeah.
and you're lucky if you have a neighbor.
Yeah.
I don't even have kids on my block.
Yeah.
So, like we could go out, but it's just one. It's just not the same. It will never be the same.
So you're probably lucky that
Right.
you have that blended family.
Right.
So that you
Exactly.
your
Because
kids
I
Blended
have the
families
kids,
are
yeah.
tough.
Yeah, and they're well, yeah.
But,
For,
yeah, but
for
it's like,
some,
but
it's very
it's like,
tough.
how committed are you?
Right.
with
So
that?
we have a big family.
A lot of
And a
patience.
lot of cousins at the same age, so we do a lot of things together, which I love about the Padilla
Right.
family. Like let's do everything together.
Yeah.
I don't have kids on my side; there's like the kids, but and those are the things that So a lot of it is changed.
Yeah.
Be with your neighbors. Like we don't live in those communities.
No.
We're not in the hood anymore.
Not like
A lot
not
of
like
us
how
aren't
we
there.
had.
Like
I mean, if you go to like 26th Street or like by 53rd in California, like them kids are out, and I love it. Like I love it when we see, even when we're driving, like we see a bunch of kids out. I love it. Yesterday I was with my son, doing some deliveries, and it was like 7:30 in the morning. I was telling Ben like these kids were out riding a bike, and my son was like, "It's 7:30 in the morning. Why are these kids out?" I'm like, "Cause they know what's up. Like that's how we used to do it back in the day, from sun up to
and in some
sundown."
areas, you got to do it early.
Yeah.
How did
Because
you
it
find,
isn't so peaceful at
how
night.
did you find everybody, right? You look at the gang of bikes laying in front of the house, right?
Yeah.
We can walk to Cal,
Yeah.
hang out at the rocks,
Problem.
and
Yeah.
do all those things.
Yeah. Enjoy it.
Now we're talking, we laugh, we're like, parents
Yeah.
used to leave us out, just be back at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Someone could have kidnapped us,
Yeah.
But like now,
And
I'm like,
I told
you're
him-
gonna go put the garbage and then let me watch you at the door. Like,
Oh, my daughter's not allowed to go.
It's a different world.
Yeah, no, my daughter's 23 and she cannot walk to the alley at all.
Yeah.
At all. Well, I mean, he does the garbage anyway, but because he's a man, but not because he's a well. How do I say? Like he was raised right, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't allow us to throw the garbage or pump the gas. Like
I think that my grandfather, to me he's my role model because my dad was just he was there. He was more of a friend to me, and I had a lot of hate because I never he was like that dad that never took me to the ballpark, never took me to go you know what, and he was a heavy drinker, and I took I had a lot of resentment for him, and my mom and sister, they forgave him, but my sister was too young. My mom put up with the shit till the day he passed away. When he passed away, I didn't feel no type of sorrow for him. I did it because I didn't know him like that.
Because he wasn't
there.
He was like
emotions
to you,
right.
so you have no
No
emotion.
love at all.
So
Yeah.
No love at all.
Unfortunately, I have to cut it. We have other engagements that we're doing after this. So I want to thank everybody for coming. This conversation was amazing.
we're gonna pause it to be continued.
Well, we probably going to start a book club.
Yeah.
So not
okay.
just the annual Father's Day thing, but we said we'll pick a day,
We'll start a book club.
and so that we could either go through these books or someone picks a book, and we could do these group sessions.
Right there.
Yeah.
Very
that
good
way-
idea.
And by then, Joe, you'll have another 10 books out by next year.
Yeah.
So we'll have more books.
I just read the third one. I just read the third one.
I just published one.
Uh-huh.
Damn it.
It's called Freemason.
I know Mike keeps saying I'm gonna write one. I'm like, he's already done like 35 books.
Right, I haven't even read the first one though.
He also said he was going to teach. I have a space inside. I have a space that I also rent out next door so that we can hold events if it gets bigger than just a small group. And we also talked about other things that he wants to pursue, which is teaching people how to either start a business, so with like your LLC,
Build an LLC, build
or
a 501c3.
writing books. So maybe we could get through that if that's someone's need and want. Then that would be something that we could do.
And it's something I don't want nobody to pay me for. Like I'm learning how to write grants, and you know,
Like resources.
You have to apply to apply. You know, so
And that's
especially
another-
the government grants. You know,
Yeah.
And then me and
So-
me and you two have stuff that we talked about.
the coffee thing for veterans.
Or that just expand on the veterans across Memphis, Indiana
Right.
as well.
Right. Well, FunkyFreshStart.com. We're not just we're for veterans, absolutely, but we're also
That would be
a
awesome.
reposition point, a restart point, and I'll help you build. You know, but remember, it's your dream. I'm not gonna chase you. You know, I can show you how to do it. I'll show you everything. You know, you can do it yourself. And I don't want no money.
There's a lot to feed these young kids.
So, thank you guys for coming. And you can get my book. So I want to hold it up. Get my book, Father Not Baby Daddy. It's on Amazon. It's on Amazon.com. Thank you so much, everybody. Happy Father's Day.
Happy
Happy
Father's
Father's
Day.
Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Father's Day, guys.
Father's Day.
Thank you guys.
Right.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you. We're gonna do this.
Don't forget
We're gonna do
your
this another time. Thank you for
Tacos.
120% Club. All in or all out. There is no in between.
I know, usually it's just like
Happy Father's Day.